Halloween. I don't know if
Oh
y'all can
God.
hear me.
Oh God. Okay, I got it. Can you hear me now?
I could always hear you.
What? You could always hear me? Well, freaking. Okay, cool. Welcome to here. Let me trim you down a bit.
All right. Are you talking?
No. I moved over. I'm gonna turn you down
Oh, all right, all right.
sec, because you sound like the mask you're wearing more than anything. But
Wait,
yo,
hold on.
what's up? No,
Does
you
it help
good?
if I remove one of the filters?
Well, I don't think it helps you. I think you catch whatever you're trying to avoid at that point.
There we go. Do I sound
No.
clearer now?
No.
Okay.
Oh well.
Oh well, back in you go. Oh shit. Well, that's one less filter.
All right,
right.
great. Contamination everywhere.
I can remove it if it's like too obnoxious. I'm just like dressed for Halloween, so.
I can understand you, so it's fine. You missed Halloween by 2 days or something, 3 days.
We don't
I
do
know.
Halloween, so I'm taking the opportunity.
Oh, I see. Welcome to American culture.
Yeah, ghosts and stuff.
Ghosts and stuff. All right. Speaking of ghosts, welcome to here. As you know, Gob, and as you might know, whoever's watching, we do these interviews on occasion to get into the deepness that is RP, to learn about the ideas and concepts behind it, to boldly go where some of us have already been, in order to just be better RPers and stuff like that. So normally, normally it's a series of questions that are RP sort of oriented about methods people use and all of that stuff. But in this situation, we always have a discussion first so that we can test out the sound and issues and all that stuff, which it's always good that we do. And then also because you're my friend and I like to hang with you, so there's that too. Yeah. So the people want to know, before anything else, it was greatly debated and they really want to know, how'd you come up with your character for this season, and what's the backstory behind that character?
That's a question I should be asking you.
Well, actually, technically, you did intend to have a character, right? But never
I
did it.
not have a character, no.
Okay. Perfect. Sort of a joke, but it is funny because the other people will have characters, so whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, this quote unquote interview is actually something that I think that other people should do, and I have said that other people should do multiple times in the past. I'm going to tell you about my character, the way I created it, the backstory, how it played out, and all that stuff. And then I still think there's value in you being here and asking you questions because, in my opinion, Jeanoopie spawned a lot of philosophical concepts and metaphysical debates, I guess, within myself, mostly because I had so much time, right? So I would like to discuss that with you afterwards because I think it's like really cool and dope and stuff.
All right, looking forward to it.
So what I did was I took pictures and screenshots of all this stuff, and so as we go through, I would like to just show them to you. I think what's going to happen though is that I have to share my screen with you, unless you're watching in some way.
I'm looking at Twitch right now, but it's 160p, so it's a bunch of squares dancing about.
Great. Okay. Well, I will just show it to us then, I guess, and I'll tell you the story. And you don't. I'll just explain what you might or might not be seeing.
Okay.
So, can you believe it's been over a month and a half, almost 2 months since our last one, by the way? Crazy.
No, it was like a fucking week ago or something.
No. Jeanoopie lasted all of October, so a month, that's 4 weeks, and then the server had started 2 weeks before that, so I don't think we had an interview in those 2 weeks either. I think it's been almost 2 months. Wow. Crazy. Yeah. So Jeanoopie is perfect for Halloween, I thought. The idea came from a discussion in which I sort of said, like, oh, I'm not good at backstories, right? I always improv, and I'm not good at sort of building with intention, you know? I just build whatever I want, whatever we need, right? So a ghost that goes nowhere and only talks to the people who show up he's literally only backstory and building with intention, because I wanted to learn, right? And I gotta say, dude, I get it 100% now. Like, I understand these people that I used to think, like, oh, they're so extreme and they're so far and they're so, like, odd and different, you know, because I'm like, I just want to play a character. I'm just gonna play a character. Boom, done. And they're like, hold on, let me get my sheets out and let me get my backstory and let me go through my book and like all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, calm it down. Like, that's beyond me, right? And I think that's not something you do either. I could be wrong. I guess,
did once.
For the bard or for someone else?
Exactly. Yeah. The bard.
Also Conan. So you came up with like a full backstory before you even played?
Not in that level. I had a backstory, which is more than I can say I did for other
True.
For other times I RP'd, but I developed it a lot during the times I played, which was every single day for, I don't know, 8 hours or something. I was dedicated, man.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I did with Jeanoopie. Even though I wanted to work on this stuff, I didn't want to work on it like outside. I wanted to do it within the stream because I just wanted to fill that time, and I'm going to stream anyway, and I'm going to play anyway, and I didn't think anyone would show up, so I was like, cool, we'll write this backstory. And it's a joke. Like, Jeanoopie entirely is a joke. Can I convince people to sit and watch nothing? And I did. People would show up and...
It didn't even have color.
It didn't even have color. The thing I stress more than anything, like being beautiful and having color and interesting, it didn't even have that. Wow. Wow. And I didn't plan that. So much of these ideas came from other people, and that's really cool too. Like, so at the end, I don't even think of Jeanoopie as just mine. Like, a lot of the stuff came from other people. So to tell you, Jeanoopie's name is just a different character that I wanted to play, Jean. But he's spoopy. I just put them together. His name is Jeanoopie. That's it. That's the entire like backstory, you know, or whatever. Jean, but he's spoopy, Jeanoopie. Wow. And so then I got into the game and I started building. And what I came up with is this story. So Jeanoopie is a former sailor who, like apparently a lot of people who, I guess, sail, encountered something unbelievable and was transported to the Fey realm. The whole server occurred in the Fey Wild or whatever, so it's all like elves and I don't know, whatever they are. I don't know a lot about it, so just elves.
You played it for a month.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not my forte or whatever. So it's like elves and junk, right? So
elves and junk.
Oh, it's going to show up on... Hold on.
I'm looking at it.
Hold on.
Something.
Hold on.
I'm waiting. You know what?
Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Oh,
can I do that? No, hold on.
Oh, wait. I have removed you.
And I'm removing my gear.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Great. All right. I could just tell you the story while you do it if you want, but you probably can't hear me. I'll just wait. So, chat, how did your characters turn out?
All right. I'm free.
Okay, cool. So, we have what I wound up doing is basing the character and a lot of the story around the things I had available. There was a lot of stuff I couldn't create because I never went out and farmed and I never did any of the game stuff, right? Jeanoopie only stayed in one spot. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so Jeanoopie sailed on a ship like this. This is one of the paintings from the game. And then, of course, we have this, the action that befell Jeanoopie. And what I wrote in the story is that two elves came across a scene similar to this. Jeanoopie obviously embellished it or whatever because he painted these, but he was taken in by two elves. Those elves are named Lance and Periwinkle a Hinkle. Their last name is a Hinkle because when I was naming the clan, I wanted it to be something that sort of played on have a heart, H-A-H. So I was just working through words and I was like, what if it's called Hamlet a Hinkle, right? Not really thinking about it. And then I accidentally hit enter and I was like, well, it's done. So we have these elves whose last name is a Hinkle. That's like a dwarf name that doesn't make any sense. But what they were doing is both elves were pretending to be native members of a different plane. They would travel to that plane and they would sell things to the natives who were there as if they lived sort of nearby or whatever. And Lance, a Hinkle, sold rings, and Periwinkle, her name's only Periwinkle because I thought it was funny that it sounded like a Hinkle. So when you say it, you have to say Periwinkle a Hinkle. Haha. So she sold basic weapons, bows and staffs and stuff like that, right? So what they would do is they would travel to different planes, specifically one, but they would travel to other planes, sell things, and come back, right? So that was the basic concept behind why they had a different name. They were trying to blend in. And then everything I'm about to tell you is actually real, and I have the evidence from it. So I was sitting in chat, or I was sitting in the field just talking, and Denver said, haha, let's do something from France. So I was like, okay, great. The jeweler, Lance, the elf, what he was doing is he's creating rings in order to sell to the natives there. The rings look like this one on the left over here. You probably can't see that. It's pretty small on the stream.
No, I bumped it up on...
oh, okay.
Yeah. I can see it.
So he's selling rings like this that have TOT stamped into them to the natives. TOT and these rings... taught they're actually from a Gaul religion that was in France. It was in Germany. I have it highlighted here. France, Germany, sort of the lower area of Britain, right? So we have this area of land where these elves would travel to and they would sell these rings. It occurred in the roughly like somewhere between 500 to 1000 AD, somewhere in there, right? And that's a good, yeah, that's pretty old, and that's good also because there was a lot of magic and mysticism and stuff there. So having two elves sort of going to that time, it just kind of lends to the concept that, you know, they're there, right? Oh, you can't actually see this. One sec.
If you're referring to the text,
no, I got it. You can't read it, but it's fine. This is just a basic information about Teotates, who is the god that was there, right? Gaulish, Celtic. Well, it comes in different names. So Teotates or Teotates is a god. He's the god of the tribe. Literally, when I would tell people, oh, they went to sell things to the tribal people, these rings were specifically for them, right? Okay. So then we have these elves who are going to this specific area. They have names that sort of might blend into the, you know, more mundane or whatever sort of idea. They're selling things directly to them. And in one of those adventures to the area, they pick up Jeanoopie, and they signed a contract with him. And I wrote that because someone suggested it to me, not because I thought of it. But they sign him on a contract. He comes back with them, and he becomes their butler, their servant. And
Wait, so Jeanoopie at this point was still a person.
Jeanoopie is human, correct? So
just Jean.
Well, yeah, true.
Okay.
It was never his actual name, I guess. Just Jean or Jeanoopie, because the Fae apparently always choose different names and stuff. Jeanoopie probably would have chosen a different name as well. It's probably not his original name, but I have no idea what it was because it never came up, right?
Okay.
So we have this crash. We have him coming back to this house. Oh, here it is. This is the house with all of the ivy and stuff on it. Very viney, very run down. And he moves into this house with them. He lives on the lower level. I don't think I have a picture of that, although I do have a picture of his diary and stuff. But he moves in with them, and then he begins to take care of the house. So he handles cooking, cleaning, sort of the basic stuff because, and I wrote this in one of the evidences that I have somewhere, maybe. Nope, I don't have that. Oh, well, I have this. We'll call this their life, right? Here at the bottom, I have a Hamlet map because I was joking when I said Hamlet a Hinkle. I thought it was funny, but if it was a Hamlet, Hamlet means multiple houses, like it's a town, right? So,
Yeah.
So these elves basically were a part of the town. In theory, they were probably high up in the leadership of the town, or they were running the town because it was named after their last name, right? So,
Okay.
So there's a town at the bottom here. We have a map, and so on it, it just showed, or it said that there was a map, but I didn't ever make it. So he's a member of the town. He handles deliveries. He handles sort of the ledger kind of stuff, payments in, payments out, that sort of thing, because the elves keep going to the other planes. We also have here, I misspelled a word, which is awkward. We have his agreement. The agreement said that it was missing a page because it had been ransacked, right? All of everything he owned, well, everything in the house, he didn't own it, had all been ransacked and thrown out and destroyed and junk, right? So we have that.
Okay.
We have an itinerary that talks about the Elm Court estate. We have a love poem that was stolen. I just tried to sort of include things that might be in someone's keepings, right? Like in your desk or next to the bed or whatever, just a bunch of paper.
Yeah, I get it.
So outside, some of the stuff that was thrown out was like an advertisement. One of them had kept an advertisement for hand cream. And so it like, in my thought, like if you keep that and you're going to like go get the hand cream, like it would still be there if you left suddenly, right? So we have all this stuff here, and some of it's in Elvish, some of it's in English. Over time, we have this document here. This document basically was, how you have the lines for learning letters and words and stuff, and then you like copy them over and over again to try and learn your letters so you can write? That's this.
Calligraphy.
Calligraphy, sort of, but at the very basic, like, if you have the letter A, you just write A over and over again so you can learn it, right? Well, this is Jeanoopie learning it in Elvish. He knows Common, we assume, but he's learning here Elvish so that he can continue to take over the day-to-day running of the house, right? He's got to be able to read a receipt or buy stuff or whatever. So he learns that junk over time, and more importantly, he was an explorer. That's why he was on the ship. Not an explorer per se, but someone who was hired in order to go and look for new places or possible interesting things that, maybe...
Sounds like an explorer.
Right. Interesting things, but more importantly, valuable things like metal or whatever, as, people do, which I guess that is the point of explorers. But he would do that for companies or whoever paid their crew, right? So... we have then this, because he was often exploring and stuff like that, he had learned how to sketch because he was often seeing things in places that people had never seen before. So he would sketch them, right? When he came to this house, the two elves are prolific painters. They've spent their life, goofing off. That's what they do. So they painted a lot, and Jeanoopie was taught to take his sketches and turn them into art. So that's how he created the painting of the ships. That's how he spent his time when they weren't here. He would come out and paint. And I don't have that picture, actually. Oh, yes, I do. This is the other side. It was set up to be like the place you would go, right? Like you would go and hang out there and paint, spend your time just in the nice sun and the breeze and stuff. So
nice scenery.
Right, exactly. And what's interesting is on that cliff over there across the lake, one of the server events actually occurred, and I was able to see it. So I could
no way.
The whatever magic thing they put down, I could see the magic thing. So it was like over there spinning and junk. Yeah, it's crazy. So that was cool.
How the hell did it render from so far away?
I don't know, dude. I have no idea.
You're better than I thought you were.
Characters didn't work, but yeah. Granted, what?
Nah, I don't give Conan a lot of credit.
Well, okay, true. Yeah, okay, that's true. Better than Atlas.
Well, you're setting the bar way too low, man.
Okay, true. So we have this. This is another document that I put out that was basically, like I said, a ledger or like information about the movement of money and that sort of thing, because I needed things to get people to come inside. Because at the point where Jeanoopie's here painting and stuff, it becomes a murder mystery. He dies at some point and for some reason is still there. And that's the actual story. All of this has been backstory. The actual story begins with his death because people, come by over time and rob him and all that junk, but he's still there no matter what. Nobody can figure out why. And so over 50 or 60 hours or something, I wrote just the backstory. And then from there on, Jeanoopie lasted basically 120 hours. From there on, I wrote I wrote clues, basically, like how do you find the next thing, right? So just to continue the story, before he dies, what happened was, wait, should I tell it like that, or should I tell you the way the clues work? I'll just tell you.
You're the storyteller.
I'll just tell you continuing. So Jeanoopie's here for a very long time. He's introduced to elvish society, but many of the elves sort of look askance at people, or askance at other elves who hang out with humans. This is the Feywild. It's not a mortal realm. So there's a big political struggle constantly going on between all elves, because that's what they do for fun, I think. And
when you got eternity, you got to do something to entertain yourself.
Exactly, yeah. So they're always like scheming and junk, right? So some of those schemes used the fact that the Hinkles were always going to this other plane, were always interacting with Jeanoopie, treated him like sort of family, and kept him, in the house with them and all that stuff. They sort of used that against them. So plus the Hinkles had basically left court. Like, this is definitely not a Fey court or anything close, right? So there was a lot of bad press against the Hinkles. And at one point, Jeanoopie, the Hinkles, Lance and Periwinkle, a Hinkle. At one point, Jeanoopie has been going to these events because the elves are always showing off and all that junk. And he meets a woman named Elmis Kieri. Elmis is an elf of a different house, of some amount of political intrigue, right? Not a huge amount. It's not like she's a princess or any of that junk, but she is an elf. And then over time, they sort of interact with each other through events because they can't just meet. And then they find ways to start meeting, and they create this relationship, right? And
right.
we have Elmas here. This is Elmas. She in this painting, although they met a lot of times, in this painting they're actually celebrating. Behind her is Tamerla, I believe. That's one of her ladies' maids, also a human. So very much on the side of them, Jeanoopie and Elmas being together, right? So in the back you can see sort of rigging or whatever, and then here we have them basically drinking wine together, celebrating. She's wearing a very sheer robe because this is Conan, and that robe is made out of Eri silk. This is Eri silk. It is a type of silk. Yes, Eri. Eri silk is made from the cocoon or whatever of the silkworm, so it doesn't actually hurt the worm. You collect the cocoons, and the worms continue, or caterpillars or whatever, just continue living their life, whereas in other ways, in other silks, they actually have to kill something, so it's like considered more humane or whatever, and that's why that's why she preferred it. It's considered vegan or whatever because
vegan silk. Nice.
Yeah, it doesn't involve the hurting of any animal or anything. So there you go. So she wears
hurting
this.
Their labor.
Well, yeah, true, I guess, but they don't care.
They spend
right?
20% of their lives doing the cocoon, and then you just yank it. All right, that's mine. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
better than killing them, I suppose.
Yeah, so true. So we have this woman. Where'd she go? There she is. We have this woman. They're seeing each other. They begin to write letters together, back and forth, obviously, but everyone knows how letters work. Everyone knows that these can be intercepted. So they begin to use a gentleman named Braylon in order to pass a more legitimate form of communication. So they get a book. This is a common thing people do, I think. They get a book and they write letters to each other, poems, draw things, sketch things. And then Braylon does deliveries semi-regularly between their houses. And he would take the cart with him, do deliveries. Here's his cart out front. And he would, trade their information back and forth along his route, right? Nobody thinks about the fact that some nice, potentially noble elf is dating some commoner like Jeanoopie or whatever. So they go through their life sort of meeting up when they can and sending letters when they can't. Jeanoopie sends a specific form of flower. It is called lemonium. Lemonium is
sounds like a chemical component.
It does, but it's actually a purple flower. It's very sort of...
Oh, sea lavenders.
Exactly, sea lavender. It often grows on the coastline in rocky areas. Jeanoopie, as a sailor, would have seen it all the time for his whole life, right? So he begins to give them to her. The Hinkles bring some back. It's all over Conan if you look close enough. It's like some of the stuff around the like you can't pick it. It's just there. It's like supposed to look right or whatever. So Jeanoopie has the flowers sort of pressed underneath his bed in a book. He sends them to her. Mm-hmm.
What map was the server on?
The server's on
Is it the DLC one?
I don't know. Yes, it's not on the main one.
Isles of Septath or something.
Well, it's not on Sipta, I don't think. It's maybe
Sipta,
it is.
yeah, there you go.
There was a volcano in the middle, and
the middle,
like
that's
a
Sipta,
separate island.
Septa.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
I think so, yeah. All right.
It's
I
on
didn't play that one, so.
Yeah, I didn't either, actually. Jeanoopie never explored anything. I didn't see it. Unfortunate.
Forgot about that.
Yeah. We have this plant called sea lavender, marsh rosemary. It's very wet oriented, ocean oriented. Again, It grows pretty much everywhere, but it grows in a band across the world, specifically Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and some in North America. but most of it would be around the Mediterranean Sea and then sort of through Europe, right? Asia, of course. So again, we tie into this specific location, okay? Right in the center of Europe, this sort of middle age kind of vibe with the fairies and everything. And then something happens. Well, so also, just to throw this in there, Jeanoopie creates his own paints from bugs or these flowers or other flowers or whatever. The Hinkles do it too, but he often does it. I actually watched a YouTube video on how to do it, and then I wrote the process up.
Dedication.
Well, I mean, I was sitting looking at a field. What do you want me to do? So I wrote it up.
I don't know, work?
Well, this is a legit way to make pigment. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I were you with the...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
This scene got me. I saw you drinking. I thought I had an opening. I was just gonna say, if I were you doing the whole, like, just stay in one place, I would be doing anything else. I would be studying. I would be playing other games while Conan is open, just, like, listening to see if anyone would show up, right? That's exactly what I would do.
That is what we talked about, and I understand fully. I did eventually start running a game called Stream Raiders. It's like a downtime kind of game.
Yeah,
so
I know Stream Raiders.
I like it. I've been playing it for a very long time, and it works really well because you just sort of click to it when you can, and then if you don't, it's not all over your screen or whatever. So yeah. So we have these legit forms of how to make things. This kind of shows that Jeanoopie also is not a technologically super savvy person. He's obviously a sailor, right? He knows this stuff more than anything else, how to make things, how to rig things, whatever. He talked about rope burns and splinters and things like that over time. And then, so we have Braylon, we have this stage set, right? We have him doing something we all, I would assume, support, trying to date the person you love, right? Or becoming in love with someone and then pursuing them, even though other people say, hey, maybe don't do that or whatever. And then...
Very Romeo and Juliet-esque.
Sort of, yes, I guess. What occurred is that one day, while the Hinkles were out, before a visit to the Elm Court estate, they were off doing some delivery of their goods or whatever. Braylon arrives at the estate, and Jeanoopie is out back painting, and he has a love letter basically that he's going to deliver to Braylon with his the book or whatever. So it's out in the back with him, right? I wrote a poem that I don't actually have a picture of, but I do have the text. It basically said, like, I miss you. I can't wait to be with you. I don't want them to keep us apart. Soon we will be able to be together. And then at the end, it references like a glowing future or something like that. I'll have to see exactly what it says. But in this sort of area, what happens is Jeanoopie's out back. Braylon often, did the deliveries. So Braylon comes up and says, Jeanoopie, I'm here. Jeanoopie calls, hey, I'm out back, right? Braylon comes through. Jeanoopie never turns. He continues to paint. He says, hey, I'm almost done painting. I'll be right with you. And then he hears his name again. And, it's Braylon at the door. And Braylon says, Jeanoopie. And Jeanoopie doesn't super register his tone, I guess. But then another voice, some other male voice, says, you were with her, in a very strong tone, right? Jeanoopie begins to turn, and the man, he doesn't even have a name. He was just someone who was often around Elmis, but never directly courted her, at least that Jeanoopie saw. He basically comes towards Jeanoopie. Jeanoopie begins to turn, and he has like sort of a knife that's designed for cleaning your brush or cutting your brush or whatever in order to make it fine. He turns, the guy pushes him, he manages to cut the guy on the arm, but this is a very tall cliff. Jeanoopie goes over the edge and dies at the very bottom. The thing that's here isn't there. They replaced it, but it's like a chest of drawers or whatever. And it contained both the letter that he was going to send and the poem in the book that they often sent back and forth to each other. That tumbled along with him because he was standing right next to it. So it all goes over the edge, right? Braylon obviously just witnessed a murder, and unfortunately, Braylon, an elf, this man, an elf, the elves themselves who live there, they're all sort of outside of Jeanoopie, right? Jeanoopie is a human. He just died. He's considered possibly lower class, right? Braylon manages to get word to the Ahinkles, hey, this just happened. There's a lot of like turmoil or whatever around this. So the Ahinkles, knowing that Jeanoopie is dead, never return. They never come back to the house at all. They leave everything they have there, because it becomes this sort of point at which there's like a fight, an argument. It probably didn't come to blows. I don't know, because I didn't write it, but they are on the battling side, right, of rights and justice and freedom and all that stuff. But it's the Feywild, so unfortunately they were probably in the minority. Jeanoopie lies dead, probably slips over into the water or whatever. Braylon, having given the message, leaves. At some point, when Jeanoopie doesn't show up to their meeting, Elmis is obviously going to figure out, like, hey, something happened. This isn't right. So if you look at the poem, where is the poem? Is it this? Yep. If you look at the poem that I wrote, this right here,
Can't read.
yeah, you don't have to read. I'm going to tell you what. Well, I can actually make it bigger, cool. But oh, where is it? It's in this thing. Let me scan through it real quick.
What font is this?
I don't know. Whatever Notepad is.
This Comic Sans.
Oh, it's right here. This, a glowing life with you, more radiant to dream. The ship in this painting is named A Glowing Life. I lost the painting. So in the painting of Elmis with the rigging behind them, they were celebrating the fact that they had together, even though Jeanoopie has almost no money, they had purchased a ship called A Glowing Life, and they had intended to, of course, go out with each other and sort of start a new life, without the stigma against them, right? I had a note that Jeanoopie taught her how to row. He was obviously teaching her how to sail over time. This is a reference to their ship. The ship is in the painting. So all these things tie together and say, there's a ship out there somewhere. She probably went to it and waited for him. And then when he didn't show up, she probably either sailed it herself with her aid and, people, or lived near it or something like that and waited for Jeanoopie. So Jeanoopie dies. He's bound to this place where he can't figure out why he's bound. And then had someone figured it out, he would have gone to the ship where she was probably haunting it. In this sort of scenario, elves don't live forever, but they do live a very long time. So she probably would have died.
Wait, how long ago was that?
In the diary and in the references I made, Jeanoopie was bound to the house over 600 years.
Oh,
and damn. People just constantly sort of raided it, took away things. It starts to fall apart over time. But he is there for hundreds and hundreds of years until the end of his existence, one of the well, several people came and helped him fix up the house. It's not what I intended to do, but they help him fix up the house, and then they find the painting. So they're the ones who put it up. And then once they have the painting up, people obviously recognize the painting as a good painting. It's got a lot of significance, right? So one of the mercenaries stole the painting, but I had a sound bug right at the same time as he put it into his coat. So I had to relog, right? So when I came back, I played it off as like when you picked up the painting and sort of took it into your possession, it kind of like Jeanoopie felt it, and he doesn't feel a lot of stuff, right? So he feels this like loss of control, I guess. And then when the painting left the premises, Tourniquet helped me sort of work out that Jeanoopie had two anchors to the world. He has the painting and he has the poem, which are pretty far apart from each other. And when you move them farther apart, Jeanoopie can't exist at all anymore. So they stole the painting, and every time the painting moved off of the property, I would log out and not exist. And then I would get a DM like, hey, the painting's back on the property. And I would log back in. And so I did that a couple times, and then at the very end, they took the painting back to their house, the mercenaries. The other people who had tried to help him sort of chased them, and they wound up stealing a different painting because they couldn't get the right one. He was still holding it, the mercenary who took it. So they can't get the painting. They come back, they have a different painting, and they basically like cursed the mercenaries like in a sketch or whatever across the painting and said like return what you stole or whatever. And then they put up like messages to Jeanoopie if he can ever return, because they don't really understand what happened. And then so they leave a message like, hey, I like you, you're great, I hope you're doing well wherever you are, you know, that sort of thing. And then they left as well. And what happened with the painting is that the mercenaries, because of the service story, needed to leave and go to a different plane. So as soon as the painting, he actually still had it in his jacket, it's not that big. As soon as they leave the plane, the painting crumbles into dust, and there's obviously no way Jeanoopie can reform. So Jeanoopie winks out of existence as well. And that's the end of the story.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how it ends?
Yep, that's how it ends. And so
no.
it sucks, right? So
it sucks. I love that it sucks.
So
Does that make sense?
Yes, that's exactly what I want to talk about with you. This concept that like the philosophicalness of a spirit that you can't normally interact with is there, right? Sometimes you can interact with it, but if you didn't, you would never even consider it, right? So if there's a house with nice stuff in it and the people are gone, you foreclose on it, you take things out, and you might shred a soul out of existence, like without even knowing. And more importantly, if you walk past somewhere that is in fact haunted all the time, there might be someone watching you that never gets contact with you. You just keep going past. Jeanoopie is there floating, watching the field that you're walking through day after day after day. And that's crazy. Like, that's insane.
That is dope. That is pretty cool.
Yeah. It became this, like... I think it's one of the saddest characters I've ever had, and I played Boxster. So, like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, just... I was watching people, and you know how you normally take a path back to your house, right? Sometimes they would take a different path because I would hang out on one side of the house because I couldn't see both of them. So I took the more normal or more used side. And when they would take the other side, I had to remind myself, like, these are people playing a game. They're just trying to go somewhere. They're not avoiding me. They're not trying to not talk to me. It doesn't matter if I'm here or not. They're just playing a game, because it became real. It was like, these people are avoiding me. These douchebags, you know?
You're a ghost. I mean, what do you expect? People do avoid ghosts. That's normal.
I agree, but these are also people who would come in and like talk and say, do you need anything or whatever, so they're obviously like friendly, you know.
Right,
But
right. I see what you mean. Yeah.
when you avoid them, it's like, oh well, all right, sure, whatever, cool. I'm not hurt. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm not hurt.
Notice me.
But yeah, it's a pretty dope experience, which was why I was so interested in joining, because it's so different, and I crave for that difference. I crave for something different than what I've done in RP. That's why I'm not RPing anymore, because I can't have any original ideas. But that was dope. That was super cool.
It all the links to everything being real and all the time I spent on it really made it feel like this could have actually happened, because if you work out all the references, you've got, you know, France just after the 1000 AD or something. But in one of the last letters I wrote, I said it was a discussion about the concept of possession. People kept saying, "Oh, Jeanoopie, your house, whatever." But if you can't possibly change anything within it, if you can't affect any physicality of an item or a place or anything, how can you possibly own it? You can't sell it. You can't change it. You can't do anything. How do you own it? So I was getting into this concept in a letter, and I said, I own myself, obviously. I think, therefore I am, which is cogito ergo sum, or however you actually say it. But that was originally written by René Descartes in French in 1440 or something like that. So right before the beginning of the Enlightenment age, several hundred years before the Industrial Revolution, we have this person who tried to get this idea, I think, therefore I am, to the common person by giving it out in French, right? We also have a person who was probably picked up in or near France, and we have a person who was paid by a lot of people or businesses or whatever to explore. So Jeanoopie is, by all accounts, one of the first people paid to start the colonialization of the Americas, and everything that led to. Jeanoopie was right at the beginning. That's crazy. Like, it's crazy that you can even work it out, you know?
That's what the history books don't tell you, kids. Don't believe everything you hear.
Yep. Don't believe everything you hear. Jeanoopie was there. Elves were there. It's all real. Magic is
real. It's all real. Open your eyes. I do have one question.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Did anyone solve the mystery or got close to it?
They did get very close. The thing that drives me insane is, like, you know, when I told you, like, I get it, I understand these people now. The sharing of the story and watching someone like interact with it and work with it, and it's something I just never do. It's so difficult for me to be like, where are you from? What's your backstory? Because you don't want to say, like, what's your backstory? So you got to find little things, right? And that's what they would...
Imagine going out to someone in real life. Hey, so what's your backstory?
Hey, what's your deal, bro? Who are you? Like, that's weird, yeah.
Yeah, nobody says that.
But they did. It was obvious that there was a mystery and that it was a murder mystery. So they treated it like they were clues. And then I watched them literally read stuff and then ask questions. And that was so cool to know.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool.
They would walk past stuff, especially the painting. The painting was behind a bookshelf for a very long time, and you could stand to the side and see it, but if you never stood on that side, you just couldn't, right? And so I would watch people like walk towards the corner and turn, and I would be like, they got it, and they would walk away, and I'd be like, no. And The only clue that was never found by Nine and the Wolf, who are the people who were working for Jeanoopie to try and help him, is that poem that was underneath that had fallen down, like I said. Right. It had fallen. It's a big book. Like, it would be this big, right? And I put it in a bush, and...
That's a big book.
Yeah, it was big and red, but I put it in a bush, and it was on the second path. So literally everyone who walked on the underneath walked past the most important clue to Jeanoopie's entire existence over and over and over and over and over, and no one ever looked. And at one point... Damn. Nine fell off the cliff because we were talking about stuff going over and junk. She fell off the cliff, and when she was down there, she turned to look at the water side and searched the water side, but didn't go far enough when searching the cliff, so she missed it and thought there was nothing down there. And I was like, ah!
Oh, no.
So,
I mean, it's a cliff. You gotta go down it. Like, you gotta go all the way down.
No, well, she did go all the way down, but unfortunately turned the wrong direction in order to look.
Damn it.
So, yeah, it's
so close.
It's crazy. And then that's what they were doing on the day that Jeanoopie got shredded. They were actually there to try and finish solving it. They had all these other clues. They were coming back in order to work it out, right? And I didn't tell anyone where anything was. I didn't give any help to anyone except in person. If they asked a question, I would try and reference like... the fact that stuff got kicked over the edge, or that someone threw something out the window because they had raided the place or whatever. But I never gave anyone any hints, and they got so close, and it was very cool.
Super cool. That's something you can see yourself doing again, but with a different theme, different story, just kind of like a mystery to be solved. Like, the character is a mystery for other people to solve. I think that's a real fucking great idea. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's doing. And so there are 3 interviews that I have lined up, 1 tonight and then 2 more tomorrow. And I'm going to ask, because these people do write backstories, and I just can't see myself sitting down and writing this junk out ahead of time. I think that the only reason I did it was because I was Jeanoopie and I was bored out of my mind, right? So I think that people do it and that they think it's interesting, and I want to know more about it, but I don't know. And so just to give you a spoiler, what I did was I did make a character for the second season. I don't intend to play it, but the server story is that they go to the mortal plane. Everyone has to leave and go to the mortal plane, right? So the next season occurs on the mortal plane. And the character I created is named Onlin. He is an elf who currently works as a woodsman. He just lives in the woods and cuts down wood, and that's all he does, right? He sells wood. He lives his woodsman life, right? His father, I don't even know his name, but his grandfather's name is Braylon, who came to the mortal realm and set up Braylon's lot, this woodsman area. We can assume because of the situations that occurred that led to Jeanoopie's death and the backlash and all of that junk, we will assume that Braylon left and went to the mortal realm to live. Yeah.
Oh, all right. You're like connecting both of the stories,
right.
You're taking a minor character from one and making it into a major character.
Well, the grandson of a minor character, but yes.
Yeah.
And exactly. It works because one of the things that people had to do was accept that the house had been there the whole time. I didn't start on day 1, unfortunately, so they had been walking past and there was no house. So they kind of had to like just accept that it had been there, right? If I say Jeanoopie's been here 600 years, what are you going to like? How do you reconcile that except to be like, oh, I never noticed that house before. Weird. Right. But once they accepted it,
you could just go along with it. And yeah, I know. I go like I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Go along with it.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was like, yeah, I've seen you walk past a lot. You never stop. You never come and ask anything or like even look in. So I sort of had to go with that. But once they accept it, everyone said, you know, who are you? I'm Jeanoopie. I've existed here for 600 years, right? If that's true, then Braylon was like born 1,000 years ago, right? And it makes sense that he would have offspring and then they would have offspring already, so that even though the time skip is only a month or something for the season, my character lived there the whole time and still lives there because he's just living his dumb life on the mortal realm. So it all works.
His dumb life.
Yeah, I mean, you know, compared to everyone else. Everyone's gonna be like, I'm a werewolf lynx hybrid, and I have the ear tufts, and I have unique paws. One of them.
I mean, you're
black.
an elf. That's already different. If you were just your average Joe cutting wood, that would be even worse.
I mean, true. Jeanoopie was human. I made him a ghost. He was a ghost, but I made two mistakes. First mistake was that I made him human, so he couldn't see in the dark, even as a ghost. So I would float there, and I couldn't even see the field in front of me to see if anyone was there.
Could you not just appeal to the admins, like, hey, can I get night vision just so I can, I don't know, see since I'm a ghost?
I accepted my mistakes and went with it.
Okay. All
Second mistake, Jeanoopie is a human in transmog, which means he has to eat and drink to survive.
Oh.
So I had only the starter food, and at the end of the season, my 100 stack of food was down to 4. If I had gone more
you
days,
made it last.
Yeah, he would have died. Like
Holy
he would have just died.
You made it last. 100 food. You made it last down to the last 4.
Yep.
That's impressive, actually.
I think so too. It kept rotting.
You had to be very efficient with the consumption, I imagine.
Yeah, it would drop like 15, and I'd be like, I don't know how much it heals food wise, but I gotta wait for longer, you know. So I would wait until it would go at least like halfway before I ate, because I was worried that I was gonna run out, and I almost did. I didn't even think about that. And like,
what would you do if it ran out like in the middle of the season? What was your plan?
I was gonna tell people that I needed food for the other people who visit, and hope that they brought food. You know, like, oh, I want to be a good host. Please put food in the table, and then I was just gonna eat it myself.
That's hilarious.
It never came up, so it's good.
Nice. Under control. Okay.
And so
that's fun.
Yeah, I could I do it again? I don't know, but I do think that all people who write these backstories and their characters and all that stuff, they want to tell you.
Right.
But they have their own like specific circumstances. Mine is just, you have to walk into the house. There's no doors. There's nothing stopping you. So walk in, and then you can ask the questions. And I wrote it already, so I don't have to say it. But yeah, the food thing was definitely planned, 100%.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, calculated. I just think that everyone's trying to tell you their story, and they don't want to just say, I'm a tiefling, I'm whatever.
Right.
They drop hints, and they do fake mistakes and all that stuff that you could pick up on, but I'm not good at that. Like, the chick who was helping Jeanoopie, named Nine, would drop hints and stuff, but if our characters are pieces of ourselves, Jeanoopie is all of my apathy, and it's so strong. Like, apathy is like 90% of my whole being, and as a ghost, I would think you don't care. Like, who cares who robs me? I can't do anything about it, and it happens all the time anyway. Who cares who runs past and doesn't stop? Who cares who does stop, right? So she would drop like hints and clues, and I would be like, would Jeanoopie care? Probably not. It doesn't matter if you say the wrong name. It doesn't matter if you address someone formally or any of that stuff. Like Jeanoopie, I even said, like, because I wrote a poem for an event. I had dude, get this. I had a reverse seance. It's so funny. You know how people always get together and they're like, let's try to pierce the veil and talk to the spirit realm, you know? What I did was I had a reverse seance where all the souls came together and tried to pierce the veil and communicate with the living. And so they would all like gather and pool their spirits together and try and communicate with the living. And so I wrote a poem for that in case people showed up. And I said that it was in the style of your time, and it's about how Jeanoopie is basically naked in front of them all the time, right? Because they were making like lewd jokes and junk. But the Ouija board. That's not how you spell it, but yes.
Yeah,
unless you spell
it's
it that.
the opposite.
Oh, the backwards. Yeah. So when I wrote the poem, I said like, oh, this is in your style. Jeanoopie must have witnessed multiple different styles because he's been there so long. He's clearly seen the rise and fall of fashion. He's seen the rise and fall of like lyrics to songs. Like, you know how things change over time, right?
Yep.
Like, for example, rock music and pop and rap and all that stuff. Like in the 50s, no one would have even known what that is. It rose and then it fell, right? What happened to ska?
What happened to ska? That's a great question. I never see it anywhere.
I think television killed it, but I'm not sure. Maybe MTV. I don't know. Yeah, but like Jeanoopie would have witnessed all this stuff, right? So it's just this like constant thing where if someone comes up and says I'm this or I'm this way or I speak this way or whatever, why would Jeanoopie care? He's seen people who speak similarly and differently and fashion and all that stuff. Like, it just keeps changing, so it must just be whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's difficult, man. I don't think I can do it. I
think that when I don't know, you might be able to tell me more about this. When you create such a convoluted backstory for your character, you want other people to learn about it, know about it. You want people to care, but at the same time, you gotta understand that those people also got theirs, and it's kind of like it's an exchange of backstories, right? And you gotta assume that not everyone is gonna be interested, both out of character and in character. Yeah. In your case, you weren't interested in character, and you had to stick to your RP, otherwise would be a bit weird. But I'm sure you yourself was interested in people's backstories. Some backstories, right?
Yeah, and I spoke to 9 out of character because they were working so hard to try and figure this out. I wanted to say, hey, thanks, that's great. And she said, hey, if anything, like any of the hints I drop don't really register, let me know. And I was honestly missing them, not understanding that they were dropping hints for their character because like Pierre would never do that. Boxer would never do that. Right. Even Samson, Spencer, none of these people I've ever played would ever do that junk. We just were who we were. And if you said, what is this about your backstory? I just made it up right there. There wasn't one, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we roll like that.
That's how we roll. And
that's how we roll.
So I would just make stuff up and then try and mix it together. But I wouldn't drop hints or anything. It was just who the character was. He just played out how he played out. so yeah, I was missing cues, and it's also difficult because Jeanoopie laid out all the clues in front of people. All you had to do was read the piece of paper, and then I could tell you the reference or whatever. So you had to still talk to me to solve the mystery, but the clue was there the whole time. I didn't have to say anything or write anything or any of that junk, even though I did, and I tried to say it in letters and say it in person. A lot of it was just laying there. So it's difficult to think like, okay, I like this person. I want to tell them more of my backstory. I'm going to make a motion with my hands in character that is significant or whatever. Like, that's so difficult to me to even recognize as a clue, much less make it myself. I don't know how they do it. I'm going to ask, man.
I also have no idea. You know, we rolled the same.
Right.
It's I have such a hard time. Actually, I haven't even tried it, so I think I would have such a hard time mixing in text with voice RP, like /me stuff. That's surreal. Right. I don't even know if I can do it without the voice RP. How do you /me everything your character's doing and say what you want to say and say what your character wants to. It's all so complex. I don't know how they do it or if I'm overthinking it.
No, I agree. We do you for the first interview because we are of similar mind. I tried it on Barry because I did play the Mad Hatter Conan thing, and I did not do it through most of the season, but at the end, people were like giving me so much. I was like, man, I gotta try this junk. Like, I have to at least try to give them back as much as they're giving me. And it was so difficult to like not pause the ongoing scene of RP and still produce motions and winks and glances and all that stuff that your character can't do, but it would do, you know? Oh man, it's so hard.
Yeah. Intense. It's all I have to say about it. It's gotta be intense.
The closest thing I've ever seen in Atlas is Scar, who could do all of the emotes so fast that they made complete sense in his character. Yeah, that stuff was amazing, and I know he must have had a bound and all of that stuff, but it all made sense the whole time. Every time he plays a character,
How do you macro that? I don't think you can. How do you predict what?
I think he had him on the F1, F2, F whatever instead of dances or something. I don't actually know. I don't know what I said about Barry. That's my bad. But this interview is definitely in the future, so if I did spoil something, I apologize. Yikes. Oh, so dude. Well, what did I say? I don't know.
No, I mean you did say something about your future character that you're not gonna play. So I think it's very irrelevant spoiler.
Yeah. If I did, I apologize. But I did want to bring up this concept as well, which is super awkward that they're here. But while playing Jeanoopie, a lot of people came by and said like, "Hey, dude, this is a crazy idea. It's really cool, and it's very interesting, and I kind of want to do it." And I would be like, "Bro, don't do it. Like, it's it's not awful. It's so fun, but at the same time, like, so what I did was I took all the videos. There are 25 episodes of Jeanoopie lasting 120 hours, and I cut all of the field out of the videos so that it's only the RP portions and me writing letters, and I put them onto YouTube. And when I tell you, there's one that's like
40 minutes video.
Dude, episode 21 and 22 I think are they're like 8 hours in total. One's 5 and one's over 3. And when I cut it down, it was under an hour of talking to someone, and some of it was just me talking. So to say like, oh, I'm streaming for 5 hours and I get an hour of RP and I cut that down, that's great. But if I stream and no one comes by, I start thinking, why am I doing this? The joke's over, right?
The joke's over. It's
like
done.
At that point, the joke's on me. I'm not getting anyone with the joke. The joke is I'm getting got, right? So right. I had in the middle of all this stuff, in the middle of like me going, oh, I don't know about this. I don't even know if putting it on YouTube is worth it. I have this person who I can honestly say I did not know before this season. I do not know, although I would consider anyone who watches my junk a friend, but I do not know as a friend, right? It's not you coming by. It's not Denver coming by. It's someone I don't know coming by and saying, hey, I like this. This is a good idea. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, it's a lot of boring stuff. And then that person stays, comes back, stays, talks about it. And then that person says, in my off time, while you're not streaming, I'm watching your other content. I'm watching the videos of Barry. I'm going through that story. I think it's great and it's so funny. Like that more than anything else made 120 hours worth it, because like I was telling a story for someone who consumed it entirely, not as a character, not as another player or anything like that. They consumed it entirely outside of any relationship, right? Yo, that's amazing to me. That's not something that happens a lot, even though that's how I kind of met all you people. But
right.
I guess it hasn't happened recently, you know what I mean? So I'm like there struggling, like, oh, I might as well quit this joke. It's not worth it. I might as well not finish, just like I didn't finish the YouTube videos of Barry. It doesn't matter, whatever. Someone comes by and says, hey, this is great. I'm consuming it. All right, cool. I'm going to do it all. I'm never going to stop, you know, like that feeling.
I'm committed now.
So yeah, I do appreciate you when I say I appreciate you, and thanks for being here. That's you, chat, specifically.
All done.
And without calling people out, because that's awkward.
This one's for you, Denver. No, just kidding.
Yeah, Denver came by a lot. I appreciate that too. Go on.
I didn't. Well, I wasn't the butt of the joke anytime because I didn't watch a single one. In fact, I don't open Twitch, so I had no idea you were doing it until you told me.
Right.
So I still think it's a great idea, but as we talked about, I would do it differently. I would have someone call to me instead of me just waiting for them. I would be doing something else instead of nothing at all. And now that you said it, I think I had a similar idea a while back. It's not nearly as elaborate as yours, but I thought about. No, it's just the concept of being there but not being there, or just being in the same place for the whole time. I thought about it when I think Darkside Conan was up, and I was playing like that dumb joke of a character that I usually play when I don't want to play as Osa's. It's the one with the long name, the Japanese one, right? And I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I created like a Japanese temple in one of the corners of the map where no one goes, and just stayed there, logged in, waiting for people. I think my camera died. Did it?
It did. Yeah. You look great. No. You're like kind of grinning and kind of waving a little bit.
No, I think my battery is gone. God damn it. I forgot to plug in my phone. Fuck. Alright, well, anyway. Let me plug my phone now.
Oh, great.
I talk about my genius idea.
Alright, cool.
That I never did. But I thought I would, like, I don't know, get some some valuable materials just as a reward for someone who finds me and calls out to me, right? I would be this Japanese sage living just, I don't know. I remember. As usual, whoever manages to pronounce my character's name,
Of course,
would get the grand pot. So that's what I thought about doing, but I kind of gave up on it because I wasn't too invested. But it's kind of similar to yours.
I can give you tips for it. If that's
All right.
what you're going to do, and you aren't bound to the place, at least initially, definitely put a message about it somewhere, like on a town board or something. And if you're not going to put a message on a town board, almost no one will come because no one's going to go foot traffic by you. So I would recommend it being like, I got super lucky that I had a bunch of people that lived there. I didn't know they lived there, but they needed to pass by in order to go to their homes or whatever on the map. So they had to walk past, and I would occasionally grab them, right? So having a temple in the very far away is difficult unless there's like a rumor of a temple with some form of like gold or jade statue or something. And then when you get there, it says like, just call out the name of the sage, Samson Osino-san Gominasai or whatever, you know, with the 3 other names. And you shall be
20
rewarded.
other names.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It could work if you hinted at it, but if no one knows, why are they gonna go? They're not even gonna farm up there.
I think I had that idea once when I was playing Conan. I don't know which RP server was it. I didn't play that many, so probably the Bard one or whatever. Maybe Dark
Okay.
Side. But
Nice.
I was just walking about and I just wandered to the corner of the world and I thought, man, I think I'm the first fucking person to come here in like the entire history of the server.
Yeah.
Why would anyone come here? And then I thought, wouldn't it be dope if someone just like me went to the corner of the map, found this structure, decided to explore it, and just to see, even if it's just like just meta knowledge, the name of the owner, right?
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity. And then there's a person inside. And there's like a note saying, call out his name and he will give you riches untold or something. Wouldn't it be an amazing experience for whoever found it?
Yeah. I mean, Boxster might have actually found it. An explorer who makes maps might have actually wound up there. So yeah, I can see that.
But I would also have to be ready for the entire season to be over. I don't know, 3 months and no one went there, right?
Yeah.
But that's a risk I would have to take to make the experience for whoever found me that much better, right?
Yeah, it's I can't say it would be rewarding because that was what was going to happen with Jeanoopie if, you know, the bug didn't happen and everything. Oh God. Yo, we're back. Sort of. Hey.
Oh, it's
Um
there you go.
Yeah. What would have happened is I just would have, like, when the server shut down, Jeanoopie's house would have crumbled into nothing, right? And no one would have ever solved it, and I would have been bummed. So it could be rewarding, but it also could be nothing. And that sucks.
Yeah, I think there's like several different reasons why I didn't go with a plan. One of them was, I don't know if I'm prepared to the possibility that no one is gonna find the thing I created and the plans I had, right? The other thing is, how am I gonna farm a reward without like a decent reward, something that people would want, without me bumping into people?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Someone actually, that's a good point. Someone walked up on Jeanoopie while I was building. I didn't have my transmog yet. Yeah.
I wanted to avoid that because it needed to, for my idea to work, it needed to be a complete surprise.
Yeah.
For both me and, I don't know, admins, whoever, right?
Right.
The admins would not even know what I'm doing until, I don't know, either they decided to investigate using admin powers, just fly over whatever, invisible, or just stumble upon it in game. It needed to be a surprise for everyone involved. Someone would go.
You would need a second actor.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, a second actor. Either that or just make it a surprise for the players and, I don't know, appeal to the admins for like, hey, I'm gonna do this character. I'm never gonna leave. This is gonna be my gimmick. Don't tell anyone. Give me a huge reward.
Yeah.
And don't hint at what I'm gonna do at all.
Right. Yeah.
And if I communicate, maybe they would give me like a kick-ass reward. I would just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
You're the cave that's hidden that Link has to go to in order to get the super sword or whatever. And you're like, hey, it's dangerous to go alone, and you give out this amazing sword. That's cool. Yep. People would love that junk, but also they might not ever see you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if anyone's gonna watch this, if you see me join a server, create a character, and not appear and do anything at all, this might be what I'm doing, so check the corners.
Start hunting. Got it. I'm on
Start
it.
hunting. Exactly.
Furious notes.
It can't be like the hidden places that everyone knows about, like behind waterfalls, small little caves. No, it has to be somewhere no one ever goes.
Right.
As paradoxical as it might seem, the hidden places aren't hidden at all because people know Conan's map, and when they want to do like hidden bases or hidden something, when they want to hide something, they go to the hidden places. So it has to be something that is so out of the way that no one ever wants to go there. But on the off chance that someone does go there, I'll be waiting.
That's awesome. I mean, I haven't seen any of the map personally, except for the part where I walked and then put the house. But there must be places all along the edges, maybe mountaintops, in the center or something. Not the volcano, obviously, but like there must be places that people just don't go. Tops of those really big trees in the jungle, like put a temple up on top, maybe. I mean,
yeah, that one could be found easily, but yeah, there are places that mountaintops, depending on how high it is, people just won't bother going there because there's nothing there, and it you know requires stamina. You gotta like remove your heavy armor. I think I don't Conan a lot.
This server had flying.
Oh well, then never mind. Mountaintops are off.
I would see like birds go by in the air and like an angel one time and all sorts of stuff, and I'd be like, whoa, what? That's crazy. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, but I don't know if it helped or hindered RP or what, because you're traveling to the spot where you're gonna RP really fast, but you're avoiding running into people, and even if you don't know they're there, so I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But it was interesting to see, you know?
Yeah. Ugh. God, I wish I had the motivation to do my plan. It's imagine 2 months and a half of Conan RP season. Someone just randomly stumbles upon your temple, and you're like, thank God someone found it. Jesus Christ, I thought this moment would never. And then
so you can stop, right? You can quit finally.
Imagine waiting 2 months and a half, and then you fumble your own name. Your own character name.
This is my moment. Don't mess it up. It's Mark. Oh shoot, it's not Mark. Dang it.
Mark. It's Bob. No, damn it. It's a lot longer than that.
You got it. Shoot. All right, here, take the stupid sword.
Take the stupid sword.
Jeanoopie would have worked, I think, a lot better. Although it would have been harder to actually do for me at the end. But if I had a job where I could stream and also still do my job, yeah, like whatever that job is, you know, doing it for an hour, streaming, saying, hey, what's up to people. And then someone rolls up for 30 minutes and RPs, and I just like turn and do that and then go back to work. That would have been sick. I could have existed for so much longer, but nope, I don't have that. So I guess I recommend it to those people. If you wanted to do schoolwork and then when someone walks up, like you said.
That's what I originally thought, yeah.
It could be viable.
I think it is. You just
okay.
tab out, just read your articles, just, I don't know, write your essay or whatever, and then you hear someone's voice, and all right, gotta pause, and then you RP for a bit, and then they go away, and then you go back to your schoolwork.
Jeanoopie would have been more lame, though. I spent a lot of that downtime, especially in the first half, just trying to entertain myself by thinking about the concepts and stuff. So I would make new clues, and I would think about where people were walking all the time, and like I would change things or whatever. So I definitely funneled that time into the character, at least in the beginning. Towards the end, I was just bored. So
yeah, I mean, it's in character. A ghost would be bored. I would be bored out of my mind.
You'd think, but maybe sure. After a year, oh man, every day's the same. You're bored out of your mind. After 500 years, are you still even bored? Does it even matter? Like, how long does it take to become so apathetic that nothing matters? Like, because nothing ever changes, nothing ever happens. It doesn't even matter if people come and do crazy seances and dances and all this stuff, because it doesn't change you. They just come by from time to time. So even visitors would be kind of like, hey, you're visiting. Great. Cool. If you steal something, okay. If you don't, okay. You know?
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. Goggles off.
Yeah, they got foggy, so I decided.
Cool.
I'm slowly taking off my costume as we go.
Your PPE?
My PPE.
Yeah.
Or my PP, as I like to call it.
Oh, is that what you tell the professional people you are with? Cool.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. How I have another interview, so
oh shit, yeah, that's right. You mentioned
I'm going to wind down from this, but I am interested in what you're doing beyond listening to me talk about Jeanoopie and discussing the philosophy of Jeanoopie. How's VR? How's school?
VR.
Yeah.
Haven't been on VR much. Like I said, school.
Yeah,
and yeah,
school,
I know.
yeah.
I don't know why I put this on again. Hold on. I just felt like it.
You're just teaching us how to put it on for the future. Right. Yeah, thank you.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm definitely not putting it the way we should be putting it.
Oh, okay.
And this, don't do that.
Got it.
You're exposing the inside of your mask to potential contaminants.
Mm-hmm,
so this is not right. Don't learn from me.
All right.
Anyway,
notes.
School's going all right. I'm doing good. Actually, really good. Surprisingly good. Well, not surprisingly. I'm a smart guy. All right, jokes apart. I'm doing good. VR. I don't know. I'm waiting for something to blow me away again.
Yeah.
Just chilling. Also, I get too lazy. I don't beat Saber a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not beating my Saber that often.
You're not working out anymore. I consider it a workout, so you're not like
a workout.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Have you seen the step ones now that have the shoe motion or whatever?
Step ones?
Yeah, it's basically DDR, but
oh shit.
It doesn't have a pad. It's just your feet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does it use like motion trackers on your ankles or something?
Well, I think it might use the hip one or the leg ones or something, but I think you need maybe an external camera.
Oh, I see. Probably not a Quest 2 thing then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you can mod it and add in extra cameras.
You can add the Vive trackers, so that's why I ask. I don't know if that's how you do it. In
maybe.
Your case.
I don't know.
But I'm not a DDR person. I don't like moving my legs a lot.
Dude, in Beat Saber though, you're like walking around and stuff, or at least stepping around.
Yeah, it's small steps. You
Okay,
usually
okay.
just stand in place. The arms, though, holy shit. Holy
Yeah.
shit. It is a huge workout. I tell you, my floor after a Beat Saber session
Oh god.
is puddles of sweat. And I'm not joking. You think, he's exaggerating for the sake of the joke. No, dude, it's a puddle. You step on it, it goes splat, splat, splat. It's a
Wow.
workout.
That's probably not good. For
It
your
is.
floor.
It's the intense cardio. Oh,
Well,
the
I mean,
floor.
for the floor, yeah. It's probably good for you, but
It's alright.
all right, cool.
Treated wood or something. I don't know what that is. Hey, you can tell me maybe. What is
Yeah,
that?
sure. I'm gonna guess it's
What
just a
floor is
hardwood
that?
floor. Yeah, it's just I don't know,
There you go.
hardwood. There you go.
Featuring my flip flops.
Wow. Yo, feet. I was gonna continue that into like an OnlyFans reference or something, but then I was like,
Yeah,
nah, I don't
I
care.
figured.
So I just left it
figured.
at feet.
Feet.
Wow, cool feet, bro.
I mean, I'm
dang.
willing to sell the feet pack if anyone's if anyone want to buy it.
Yeah.
They're not good feet. I'm gonna tell you they're not pretty. But hey.
I appreciate you for your feet, so don't worry.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Cool. I will do what we always do between interviews. I will go pee. I will set up the next interview.
Right.
Thanks for chilling, testing out the sound, testing out the video, testing out everything.
Everything
and-
sound?
Yeah. Thanks for being my friend too. Oh,
Thanks for being my friend. Oh.
Yeah, sure. I forgot to tell you. You know how I said, I don't have a stage or whatever. We are standing in Jeanoopie's living room, or we're sitting, or we're existing in Jeanoopie's living room right now.
Oh, the stage. Right.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot. I was like, oh snap! But I had actually planned to like put chairs and stuff so that we could be on it, and then I never did that. So we're just in it. So there you go.
I do have a question.
Okay.
What is that thing that looks like a notebook, like a laptop?
It's like an open box. All the boxes in Jeanoopie's house were open basically because people had rifled through them and taken whatever they wanted. So
That makes sense.
it's like a silverware box or whatever that you would put like nice silverware into. It's just open. Yeah. Oh,
Makes sense.
One other funny thing just to tell you. I thought it would be funny if people thought I was bored, even though sometimes I was bored. So when people would be like, can I go in your house? I'd be like, well, it's not really my house, and I can just tell you about it from here if you want. And they'd be like, okay, that's weird, sure. And then I would tell them there are 51 triangles and 69 squares that make up the floor and ceiling. There are 105 wall panels. There are 29 windows and 3 very large windows. There are 32 links of fence made up of 39 posts and 64 panels. And I would just go like on and on about the house because I was obviously like standing there counting all the time because I'm a ghost, right? But I only counted it once, but it was really fun. Like
Right.
they would be like, oh god, this. And I just thought about that looking at his floor. But yeah,
You had like a recipe list.
yeah, I did.
Recipe list.
Well, I had to go through and
That's
count it
fun.
all first, and then just told them, yeah. And then they would quiz me. They'd be like, first I didn't know how many windows there were, so they were like, how many windows? And I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I had to count real fast, like right in front of them without saying anything. And then they would ask me like, how many boards are there? How many rivets? How many nails? And so I was like, oh snap. And I was like trying to do the calculations, you know?
So, I'm sorry to
No, it's cool.
delay our inevitable goodbye, but
Yeah.
I do have 2 questions. I don't remember
great.
the second
Okay.
one, so I'm just gonna ask the first one and
Cool.
and hope I remember the other one while you answer it.
Okay.
How was Jeanoopie's voice again? I think you did it
Oh.
once and I forgot.
Jeanoopie's voice is just my voice, but in all my characters I was breathing out, and so I thought, okay, Jeanoopie is a ghost, so he would be breathing in.
So I just talk by breathing inward instead of outward.
That's so different. That is
So-
like, it sounds like you're using the sound pad or something.
But
That's
if I let's say I breathe in like, okay, I can breathe out like this, and I can say everything with all the breath that I have.
And then I can start breathing in and I can continue to speak.
So
I understand what you're talking
yeah, exactly like that. And I've gotten a lot better at it over time and practice, because at the beginning I couldn't even say a whole sentence. And through practice,
you're doing cardio.
yeah, like now I can like say multiple sentences together, and then I have to breathe and then say some more stuff. So yeah,
Cool.
I thought it would be cool to make a character that
Sounded like this.
and like this or whatever, so that I could continually speak nonstop. But I can't get the outward voice to sound right, or the inward, either one, you know?
Yeah. That would be unique, to say the
Yeah,
least.
that'd be cool.
The
the
second
other one?
question I
Yeah.
did remember. Did you plan your building before in single player or whatever? Before you
I built it live.
went for
Yeah.
it.
I because I didn't have any plan. I hadn't written anything. So literally I found the spot that I thought might be out of the way, but people might see, not knowing where anyone was. And then I was like, okay, if this was a kind of nice house, it would have multiple floors, or, you know. So I did that, but I wanted it to be more open so that people would be more likely to explore. So it had a lower level and an upper level, but no wall in between. It just had like a walk down kind of staircase. And then it had two
Right.
private rooms, one for me and one for the masters of the house. But I didn't even know that, like, I didn't know their names. I didn't know anything about them. I just built the house thinking that whatever it was, I would write into it. And then I did.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And-
That's it for me.
Just to let you and everyone know, I had never seen any of the building pieces, because I had never built anything in Conan except for like tables and chairs for Barry, and I didn't even make them myself. So I literally had to pull out all the pieces one by one and look at what they look like to see if they fit, and then put them back and pull new ones, put them back and pull new ones, over and over and over and over.
That's why I asked if you
Yeah.
planned your building before, because it's a
Nope.
lot of furniture. It's
Yeah.
a lot of furniture with those mods.
I couldn't even I couldn't even remember how to actually build. I kept forgetting that I needed a construction hammer, and I would like try and get the menus open and like figure that junk out. The first 2 episodes are me just like begging someone to help me, because I have no idea what's happening. And like Tourniquet would come by and it'd be like, what are the buttons? And he'd be like, I don't know either. I just build. It's automatic. And I'd be like, you're killing me. But yeah, cool.
Fun.
Thanks for
All right.
chilling. You're great.
Thanks for inviting me. You're great as well.
Always.
I think we're all great.
Yeah, chat, you're great as well. The upcoming interview is great also. I will set it up. Deuces for now. Thank you very much.
Deuces. Thank you
I'm gonna
very
run
much. And
Oh, go ahead.
good luck with the next interview. That's all.
Thank
that's all
you.
I was gonna say.
I'm going to ask a bunch of interesting stuff, I think. Cool.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be on listening mode for the next
cool,
one. So
cool.
I'll be working on some stuff. All right.
Cool. Bye.
Laters.
Laters.